All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Win and Play podcast. It's going to be an awesome one, amazing one too, a phenomenal one. Got one of my brothers on here, so we are going to get into some good stuff. But for those of you who don't know what the Win and Play podcast is, oh, and by the way, yes, I'm your host, Sean Geary, a national youth speaker and author of Ricardo's Race, the Activity Booklet, and some other books. But anyway, if you're here for the first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to tell you now, you might as well go ahead, like and subscribe and share this with a few people. I'm not going to tell you share it with everybody, but share it with a couple people. What are we here for? This is the Win and Play podcast. We drop win and plays. We drop some diamonds for those that are principals, teachers, parents, any youth advocate at all. If you do anything working with young people, this is a place to be where you can get some extra ideas and tips and tricks and things that has worked for other guests that have done what you are doing or something similar to it. So this is a great place. Take some notes, write some things down, whatever you hear, rewind it, run it back, all that good stuff. So like and subscribe. Go ahead and tell them like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
All right. So before we get into our guests, every episode we do something really cool. I think it's kind of cool. So the Win and Play, if you look at sports, it's like you want to get to the championship game, right? And then you win, and then those that win, they get a ring. So every episode we eat a ring pop. So
Nice.
Guests always get to pick first. I think I see one I want to try, y'all. Ring pop. What's that one?
Purple berry
punch.
What's this one? Same thing.
Same thing.
Go
Yep.
ahead with purple
I was
berry
looking
punch.
at this one right here. What is this? Watermelon Rush. Let's go. Watermelon Rush. It say tongue painters. Color your tongue. I guess I'm about to have my tongue colored today. So this is how we do. We get down, get us a ring pop. Right. Remember these from back in the day?
Yeah, but they don't fit.
That
no
don't
more.
fit.
Yeah,
Right. Right. That don't fit no more. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Ring pop, man. When y'all gonna sponsor? I'm just saying,
Hilarious.
might as well, because we on here with y'all stuff every episode. Anyway, all right. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who, for whatever reason, don't know who you are.
Absolutely. So my name is Justus, aka Justus Blessed from the group TriBlessed. Been doing gospel rap since I was 14 years old. Outside of that, I am a youth pastor. I'm the student ministry pastor at the Well Church Cincinnati, as well as I work for City Gospel Mission in the engagement area Jobs Plus, where I work specifically with the high school program. I'm the high school program manager, and I go into different high schools in the city to teach career development. So
Nice, bro. I appreciate you, man, for
Absolutely.
coming on. For real. Yeah, so let me ask you a question, because I remember back in the day, man, y'all had so much energy dancing all the time and getting it and stuff. I was like, oh, them boys got energy, boy. That's what's up. Let me ask you this, and it may be around that time, but when did you ever, because, well, you was young then, you was like a part of the kids group probably, but I was going to say, when did you see or experience something with youth where you said, one day I want to work with youth, I want to impact young people?
So it's a funny story with that. I never aspired to teach, nor did I ever aspire to work with youth when I was younger.
Wow.
I was one of those kids where when you aged out of children's church, you went back to children's church because you didn't want to go inside of the main sanctuary. Right. So I told the youth that all the time. We didn't have like a high school ministry. So I knew my Bible stories very well.
Yeah.
I knew my Abraham, my Isaacs. I knew all about, Jacob and Esau. I knew all about my favorite Bible character was Samson. And so I could tell everybody all the stories of the Old Testament and knew nothing about the New Testament other than the Gospels.
Okay.
And so as I got older, though, I found myself in ministry. Like we would get done rapping, and then my brothers, they would go to where the youth were, but I would always go to where the parents were because I always just wanted them to like drop gems, give me nuggets, things of that nature.
Good idea.
And so I always found myself in positions of leadership when I was in church. And so I became unofficially like the youth choir leader for the youth church at shout out Zion Global Ministry, Pastor Freddie T. Pipus.
Shout out.
And he had neck surgery. And when he had neck surgery, we was like, well, we got to keep the ministry going.
Yeah.
So I collaborated with one of the boys that plays the piano, and I pretty much just went with easy songs that the youth could sing, and I taught it to them. And we ministered one Sunday, and it like God moved. Like God, we had an experience that Sunday, and in that experience, God said, "You're called to teach."
Wow.
But I did not know what I was supposed to teach. By this time, I was 20.
Okay.
So I was 20 years old, and I had no idea what I was supposed to teach. And then I had met my wife, and I started going to her church. And
shout out, sis.
Yes. And so when I started going to her church, I found myself in a leadership role with the youth.
Okay.
And around the age of 25, 26 was when I kind of took over the middle school ministry.
Okay.
And I realized like that was my niche right there, was the niche of ministering to those in middle school.
Okay.
And that's when God was revealing to me that I'm called to teach things that I wish that I had learned when I was their age. Because you push forward, you know, in your 20s is around that time when you start to ask the right questions and seek the right answers.
Yeah.
And I even fell away from God for a season.
Okay.
And then in my return, it was like, when I returned back to God, I was like, I've done enough research to know that God is real, historically, archaeologically, scientifically, and also spiritually.
Yeah.
So now, you know, we pushing, and by the time I turned 26, I had worked in the food industry all my life.
Okay.
I love serving food. And then I got a job doing renovation and reconstruction in people's houses.
Wow.
Which was
what
dope.
A different, like
vastly different, right?
Right.
But I worked for a Christian company.
Okay.
And in the time when I was working for this Christian company, I was telling them, you know, I'm passionate about working with the youth. And the guy who I was working with, his name is Alex. He said, man, like you should really like find a career in that. And that's what they cared about. It was like, bro, you're a phenomenal worker, but your passion is youth. Like I hear you light up when you talk about youth.
Yeah.
And my best friend Orlando got me hip to working for this organization. It was a Christian organization called Healthy Visions. Okay. And they went inside of high schools and taught social emotional education.
Wow.
And it was spiritual principles without putting God on it. So you just teach in the schools.
Absolutely.
And when I told my boss, like, hey, like they want to interview me, blah, blah, blah. He was like, man, if you don't go to this interview, I'm gonna fire you. Because he knew I was a loyalist.
Wow.
I love doing renovation and reconstruction. I loved it. But my calling was to the youth.
Yeah.
So I ended up leaving that job and working for Healthy Visions. And in this time, I'll be like, still unofficially, I am like the student ministry pastor at my church.
Gotcha.
And then from there, somebody saw my work that I was doing with Healthy Visions. Now we're moving to 2022 and I'm in my 30s. And he says, yo, I love what you do with the youth there, but it's better over here. Grass is greener over here.
Right, okay,
right. And I was like, hold on, you know. And this is why, you know, for anybody who's tapped in, like, listen to God. Because God knows the plans that he has for you.
Absolutely.
And we may not understand, because when my guy Mike hit me up, he was like, yo, over here the grass is greener. I was like, I already got a full-time job. I got benefits from the government. Yeah. You know, I don't need, you know, my job is like solid. Like I'm actually really good here. Yeah. And I went to sleep that night. God woke me up in the middle of the night and he said, ask him more. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I had gone to, I messaged him like at 6:00 in the morning that morning. Okay. And I was like, give me more information about the job. And it was a significant pay increase. But, you know, one of the things that I always think about is it's not about pay. Yeah. It's about being in your calling.
For sure.
But I went to the interview and I interviewed with my current boss now. His name is Abe. And he actually was real. That's one of the things that I love about Abe and my boss in the job is it was real. He looked at me and he said, these jobs seem very linear. That he wasn't focused on the pay. He was like, it seemed like you get good, you know, good time off. You get benefits here. You know, you're in your calling. He was like, I don't think you should leave a job to go to another job. And they're pretty much the same. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, that's real. That's real words of wisdom he gave me. And then we got to the nitty gritty of it. And he was like, hold on, do they do this? Do they do that?
Right,
do they do that?
Right.
He was like, nothing against them, but the grass is green over here.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so he was right.
Yeah. And so here I am. It'll be 3 years working for Jobs Plus in January, on January the 3rd. Love my job. It is amazing. I'm still doing exactly what I was doing before, but it's the placement is just, it's key. And the accolades are real. And I'm really in my element with this job because I really get to give young people nuggets that I wish that I had when I was their age.
That's good. That's good, man. Is there anything that you can think of, like when you're talking to these students, where how does that feel when they're like soaking it up and they're receiving, and how does that feel?
So there are moments and times where you have to remove the pride from yourself in those, because there'll be students that'll walk up to you and be like, I listened to what you said, and then this happened. And you got to remember, like, it's not me, it's God. Because man, I've had I teach career development. So when I was younger, I think I was around 19 years, it was 18, 19. I graduated from high school. I didn't have a job yet. My mom said that she had a friend that told her about this SOARS program at the Urban League of Cincinnati.
Okay.
And it's actually for those that have criminal records. And it helps, it's like you get a certification to say that, as you reacclimate into society, you're going to be a productive member of society. Nice. Okay. And they teach you career development there.
Okay. Good,
I'm 19 years old, fresh out of high school. Me and my older brother had gone to it. And it's like, I'm around folks in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that have experienced life, and I haven't. But the gems that they gave me in those moments, how to cheat the system with an interview, how to dress, all of that stuff, I was like, why are we not teaching this in high school?
Nobody's told me,
So I get students that are like, all right, cool, we about to, you think you know this all? Cool. I had a young boy from Purcell, Marion, and he was like, I'm a dog interviewer. Like, I'm a beast. I was like, all right, cool.
We're gonna see.
Stand up. Tell me about yourself. He started talking. I grilled him. You'd have thought I didn't like him. How, but it was really, I'm like, I'm thinking of myself as like a coach. And I'm a tough coach,
for sure.
And I'm like, you gotta get this right. You gotta get this right. And some of the stuff I told him, I say, remove the word good from your vocabulary. You're not good. Treat jobs like a relationship, and an interview is the talking stage. When you say, why should I be with you? And you say, I'm good at communication. I don't want nobody who's good at communication. Right. I need I said it needs to be 2 or 3 syllable words. Phenomenal, exceptional, amazing, awesome, exemplary, right? So, and then I told him, about the attire. I told him, some other stuff, some gems. At the end of an interview, you used the phrase, can I take a tour of the facility? I was like, I don't care where you are. McDonald's, P&G, ask for a tour. He comes up to me a few weeks later. He's like, Mr. Justice, I listened to what you said. I went to the interview. I had on my nice shirt. I put a tie on. I removed the word good from my vocabulary. I said the word phenomenal. Then at the end, I said, can I take a tour of the facility? Where was it? Madison Bowl. He asked for a tour. They took him around, and he said, I got the job. And it's like,
that's a message right there for y'all. Like,
it's
take
like,
a tour.
Ask for a tour. They like that.
Yeah.
So I got excited, but then it's like, it's not me, it's God. God put me in this position. So I'm always humbled when I have these moments. When the kids get it.
That's phenomenal, man.
Look.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Now, I love it because, we have these moments where we pour into you where we get to see, and we don't always get to see. We don't always get to see that benefit, or it may hit somebody 10 years later, 20 years later, and they thinking about something you told them, and you never got to see the fruit, right? But then those moments where you do, it's like, man, okay, God, look at you, But then you have those knuckleheads that don't want to listen for nothing. So have you had any experiences you can think of right now where it was just so difficult working with this student? And how, if you can, think of one where you eventually broke through, or eventually things changed and turned around for somebody who's watching that may be saying, you know what, I got somebody I'm struggling to connect with or struggling with, period. Can you think of any like that?
I have a small sample size because I've only been doing this for 2 years. And even the youth that I served like 6 years ago with Healthy Visions, a lot of them were in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So at Purcell Marion, for instance, I served them when they were in the 7th grade and 8th grade. Now they're seniors this year, and I get to serve them again with my current job, which is dope. So as far as those are like, you trying your hardest, with you being let's say you're a mentor, it's difficult to have this mindset. Don't really dive too much into this mindset if you're a mentor, but if you're a teacher and you have a class size, 15, 20, doesn't matter what size it is, you may have one that you cannot reach. Do not let that prevent you from reaching the other 9 or the other 14. That's the hard part, because especially when it's I see so much potential in you.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate piece is, as teachers, we are complementary education to the education they're supposed to get from their parents. We are not the sole provider of their education. And sometimes the children are taught to contradict teachers. Because their parents have an issue with authority, and their children see it. So now they have an issue with authority.
Man, that's good.
So there have been times where, and even in youth ministry, these are the kids that I see every single Sunday. And it's like, I want to get through to you. I want you to get it, but you're causing problems. And I've got 15 other kids in here that I have to serve. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you to sit with your parents. Like, you're not going to get it if you don't want to get it.
Right.
And so I had a student in Fittytown that flat out told me that she did not like me day one. And it's because I don't play. I'm very structured, and I'm very authoritative and demonstrative. So on day one, when I come into your classroom, no cell phones, no laptops, no headphones. You don't need them.
Right.
And I had a student try to tell me they needed to keep their headphones on and listen to music while I'm teaching. And even how I presented it, I tried to be nice. I said, give me 2 weeks of you not having your headphones on when I teach. If it's so bad after those 2 weeks that you have to have them on, I'll let you keep it on. But for 2 weeks, just give me 2 weeks. She hated me from day one.
Wow.
And even told me to my face, like, she did not like me.
Wow.
And she gave me reasons as to why. And it's like, the reason why I even asked her, I said, tell me why you don't like me. Not because I'm trying to change your mindset, but so that if ever I dealt with the student that was like you, I know how to handle it. Because to be honest, you're a lost cause when it comes to me. You have your mind made up.
Right.
But if there's ever another student that comes to me and their personality or how they present themselves is similar to yours, I know how to operate.
Right.
So there's times where you have to deal with that. Again, with being a mentor, it's totally different. If one of my mentees we have a whole interventions, we having sit downs, we doing all that, because typically with a mentor to mentee relationship, it's smaller sizes. So if you got 4 mentees, grind with your youth as much as you can. But when you're dealing with classes and stuff like that, reach who you can. Because, if the rule is not to be on your cell phone, you got 1 kid on a cell phone but 14 other kids engaged, I'm about to teach these other 14. And maybe the culture of the room and how conducive it is with these other 14, it causes them to get off their phone. That's the hope. But if it doesn't, get these. Don't miss these because you stuck here. Let Jesus get the one.
Right.
He will leave the 99. Right. He gonna leave the 99 for the one. I gotta get you.
Right.
You stick with them and you pray for them. You pray for them.
No, that's good. Yeah, man, that's good, man. And I know with patience, you got to deal with patience, working with kids, and sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what you're gonna get. I've had a couple students that I've watched, and it's been sad because I haven't seen anything in their proximity, their vicinity, that's like causing this anger that I see, this frustration. So it leads me to believe that it's something from home, And so there's one particular student, and I just found out, I think they pulled out and withdrew from the school, but it was this individual, man, she was so angry, like snap back, and it would be out of the blue. Like everything would be good, everything would be cool. And then just one teacher saying, guys, keep it down over there or something. You know what I mean? That's all it would take. Like, and then she just, next thing you know, she's yelling and screaming and stuff. And I had a couple interactions with her, and I could see, bro, like I could see the light. And I'm like, if I had some more time, I think I would be able to break through and help with a lot of that. and I would try to pour into her and stuff. And one of the things I would tell her is to survive the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, man, I'm gonna share quickly on that because I feel like it's worth hearing because a lot of students and a lot of adults don't know how to survive the situation.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? So let's take the same example, right? We're in a lunchroom, let's say, and the teacher, whoever's saying, keep it down. And then they say, okay, we at a level 0 now, no talking. Well, then they hear something come from some section, some area, and they turn around and they say, you go up to the board, or go up to the wall, or go up to whatever, calling them out. The moment that student hears that, there's a decision to be made. Am I going to survive the situation? And I'm talking about they really wasn't talking, right? Wasn't talking. But the teacher said you were and told you to get up. And so I've been trying to teach some students, like, survive the situation. Be respectful. Do what's being asked of you right now in the situation.
Yeah.
Survive the situation to come back later and have a conversation. Say you listen to what that teacher's telling you to do, and you come back later in the day or tomorrow and say, hey, Mr. Mrs. So-and-so, listen, I just want to talk to you. I really feel like I was not talking and you told me to get up. Out of respect for you, I listened, but I don't think that I should be in trouble because of X, Y, and Z. And I said, the level of respect that adult would have for you just because you did exactly what they asked you to do. You didn't fight back. You didn't yell, didn't scream. You did what they asked you to do. And then later you came with the level of maturity to say, hey, listen, I just want to talk to you about this. I don't think this was right or whatever. I said, they're going to listen. So most likely they're going to listen so much more, so much faster than if you're trying in the situation to defend yourself. And I think at the end of the day, I tell them, you guys are trying to defend yourself so fast, but it's not the right time.
Yeah.
It's not the right time. And so I tell them, survive the situation, get through it. Because typically what will happen is they start yelling, but I wasn't talking. And then that escalates to, why are you even calling me up? And now everybody's watching. And now they got a platform. Now they got the stage. They're like, well, now I got to perform because everybody watching. And I'm out here now. Yeah. So I might as well go. But see, why you even got it? And it's like, you just made what could have been a just come up here just till the bell ring. Then y'all all go. So now I got to call your mom. Now you done said something. Now I got to suspend you, or you done something. And it's like the situation got so much worse because you weren't focused on surviving the situation.
Yeah.
So I get through it. And I feel like when you take that to the streets, you take that to real life, you got people that's getting shot, you know what I'm saying, by police officers or from anybody. Yeah. And that's just one example, but survive the situation. Somebody stepped on your shoes. Somebody bumped you the wrong way. Okay, who cares? Survive the situation. It ain't got to go down that road. It ain't got to go. You got to get home and they need to get home. Both of y'all need to get home. So, but anyway, just surviving the situation. But yeah, man, I'm glad to hear, man, all the stuff that you're doing, and I've watched you from afar. Plus, you know, we're connected, so it's like to see a person who's serving the youth and who loves the Lord, and just years later, still, you know what I'm saying, serving the Lord, loving the Lord, and serving you. Yeah. That's refreshing, man. So flowers to you, bro. Like kudos. I
wanted to speak on what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
That it caused me to jump into teaching a lesson. A lot of the lessons that I teach, you know, with career development have to deal with us as people first before I start teaching the harder skills on, you know, the other stuff. Like we're going to talk about self-esteem. We're going to talk about your brand. We're going to talk about, you know what I'm saying, you know, all of that stuff, like building yourself up, your why. And then we're going to start talking about, you know, interview attire. We're going to start to talk about marketing, soft skills, hard skills, stuff like that. And one of the lessons that I came up with at the February of this year was emotional intelligence, which is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Being able to handle situations even when they're not the best of situations. When life is going great, you good. What do you do when stuff starts happening? And there's a disconnect culturally, especially between the seasoned teachers and our younger generation of students. My encouragement to anybody who's a teacher, anybody who is a professor, anything like that, dabble into TikTok. just look and see what's going on. I'm not telling you to create a profile. What I'm telling you is look and see what these youth are doing, the music that they're listening to, how they're acting, how they're responding, because it helps you to understand, when you talk about, they're looking for opportunities to quote unquote trip out. They're looking for that because it is culturally relevant in this moment. Fighting teachers is culturally relevant. When folk are saying, why are these students fighting teachers? Because they go viral. They don't care about prison time. They care about the motion for the videos that go behind it, right? But also, they come from a generation of, you got parents who were whooped or whooped kids in school. And then you got the next generation that's like, I hated that.
Right.
It was embarrassing. I don't want it.
I ain't whooping ever.
Remove it from me.
Yeah.
So now there's a disconnect of authority. Then you got the next generation that's coming behind it that's like, y'all got whooped? That's crazy. You would never see me do that. Never do that to me. Yep. And so now you got the next generation behind it, because I'm the generation that's like, whoa, you got whooped? That's crazy. Then you got the next generation that's behind it that's saying, I demand respect. Right? So there's a disconnect because there's an older generation that says respect is earned. And there's a generation now that says I demand it. Yeah. So if you don't give me any type of respect, I'm not going to respect you at all.
Right.
So you got teachers that walk in that command the room. Hey, when I walk in, everybody turn everything off. And their mindset is, my mama don't even tell me to turn everything off. Who are you talking to?
Right.
And and so you have to present it in a way that they completely understand where you're coming from and where you're doing. Yeah. So when I walk into a room, I say my rule is no cell phones, no laptops, no headphones. Why? Because you don't need them. Everything that I'm going to present to you is going to be tangible. It's going to be hands-on, and it's going to be on the screen. You don't need your cell phone. I'm also teaching you how to disconnect yourself from technology, because all y'all do is be on your cell phones and y'all's laptops. Everything is on y'all's laptops. So y'all get a break from it. Who in here knows that they addicted to their cell phone? A whole bunch of kids raise their hand. Cool. Well, I'm working with you on it. Now we go into incentivization. I say, if we can get the entire class and not be on your cell phones, I'll make the entire class brownies. All right. Now we got a whole bunch of student leaders that are trying to step up and say, all right, everybody, make sure y'all off y'all phone. I want these brownies. Y'all better get off y'all phone. Get off your phone. You get off your phone. You know what I'm saying? So now it's become a culture that I've created to where when I walk in, folk take their headphones off. They put their cell phones away because, and then you got some that are thirsty. They do it underneath the desk. And I'm not tripping on that because y'all still engaged. Y'all still tapped in. But I also understand them culturally to a point where I can present to them information that they cannot refute. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to emotional intelligence, I tell them, I say, I come from violence. Not that I grew up in violence, but my mother taught me. She said, if they're big enough to hit you, they're big enough to get knocked out. So I come from a place of, I wish somebody would test me because my mama said I'm supposed to knock you out. No LL Cool J.
Right.
So there were moments and times I was telling the kids, like, I fought all through high school, got expelled my senior year from high school from fighting. Wow. Then I graduated from high school because I'm highly intelligent. I still was able to graduate on time, but the fighting didn't stop once I graduated. I turned the cap. I didn't evolve. I ain't turned into a magical Pokemon. Wow. So then I was fighting on my jobs. Dang. I got into arguments with people on the job. I fought them. Wow. I'm talking, I was served in the back. I was working at IHOP. I would fight people in the back and still serve food in the front. And I told him, I was like, there's a lot of times where I should have lost my job because I'm so good at what I do. They didn't want to fire me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it never taught me anything. I went to a Christian college and fought twice at my Christian college. Wow. Because I come from a place of, if you disrespect me, especially if you put your hands on me, I gotta slide you. Now I'm older and I go into these high schools and I say, don't fight anybody. They're like, what? I ain't supposed to, don't fight anybody for any. There's two reasons why you should fight. If your life is in danger or if you're getting a purse. And the only two reasons. Well, Mr. Justice, what? Oh, you fighting over words. Somebody talked about your mama. Does your mama care?
Right.
If you go home, this is what I told him. I said, if you go home and tell your mama, so-and-so said something about you, and she said, hop in the car, we about to pull up on them, I got an issue with your mama. I don't have an issue with you. Why are you trying to fight kids? Your mama don't care. My mama has never cared about anything that anybody in my high school ever said about them. She did not lose sleep over any of that, and she didn't lose money. So why are you fighting over words?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so and so bumped into me. Okay, cool. People bump into each other all the time. People step on each other's shoes all the time.
Yep.
Let it roll off your shoulders. Why? Because you trying to get to the bag.
That's
And you know
good.
what messes up your bag? A criminal record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with 17 and 18-year-olds. They're gonna try you as an adult.
Yep.
Wilding out.
ASAP.
So
ASAP.
that's the, like, what you talking about, survive the moment, especially with, you know, and they'll tell you like, this teacher terrible, this teacher horrible, no, this teacher, and they're right. I've seen it. You are absolutely right. I said, you know what the best way to handle that situation? Get an A in a class. So that you never have to go back.
Come back. Right.
Never have to go back.
Never got to come back.
So, you know, that's some
good.
of the, you know, when you talk about teaching, and some of the kids, they sit there and they listen and they cannot refute it. Because all you're doing is spitting straight facts and knowledge to the point where they say, what they have to say is, Mr. Justice, you right, and I have to make a change, or they're gonna say, Mr. Justice, you right, but I'm still gonna do whatever I want to do.
Right.
You right. You right. You know that I'm right. Now you have to make a cognitive decision as to what you plan on doing after that.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence, though, was never taught to me when I was in high school.
It's probably still not being taught many places, man.
It's not. So that's why I go into these schools and I teach it.
Yeah.
And they gotta hold on to it.
That's good. That's good, man. Man, that's good. There's so many nuggets in there. You've been dropping diamonds this whole time. We're not even gonna be able to get to everything. I already know. I wanted to ask about some music stuff, man.
Yeah.
Tell the people about the music and what's going on right now, because you got some history.
Yeah.
You could go back to.
I don't even want to reach all the way back there.
Okay, well then,
God told me to do gospel rap at the age of 14. And we've been pursuing it since. We have traveled the nation. We've been on international television. We've won awards. I'm talking red carpet awards. And, you know, God did amazing things when I was in high school, junior high and high school. When I was in high school, then we got older. And life happens, you know.
Sure.
And so when life happens, like, it doesn't stop you from writing. I actually made a bunch of underground mixtapes that they're gone in the wind. That iMac is destroyed. I don't have any of that music anymore.
Oh yeah.
Got a bunch of music on SoundCloud. Yeah. I got a bunch of music on SoundCloud. I just listened to a track today and I was like, oh man, this is from 2012. I'm like, oh, you hear how mature you've gotten since then.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was adding a member to our group. So of course it was me and my brothers. I had an older brother, Stefan, me, my little brother, Vincent. Stefan went into a different direction. And so my baby brother, Christian, stepped into the group. So it was still three. And people still calling us TriBlessed, like, because it's three brothers. And that's not what it is. Blessed by God with destiny and purpose. Blessed by Jesus Christ with salvation and eternal life through the shedding of his blood. And blessed by the Holy Spirit with power to do great things. And so we added a fourth member named Kaylin, a.k.a. K-Way.
Shout out.
Shout outs to K-Way. And she is one of the hidden gems in the city of Cincinnati.
Hopefully she won't be hidden anymore.
She's so dope and so solid. And more so than her phenomenal voice, she's a phenomenal singer. She's also a phenomenal rapper.
Wow.
But it's her phenomenal spirit. She has a heart for worship.
So
I was like, yo, like, little sis, like, come on, join the group. She prayed about it and she was like, yeah, God told me to join the group. And it didn't stop her from doing her own ventures and doing her own things, because she's released her own music since then. But 2018, we started recording. It was like, it's album time. And I'm talking, when it was album time, we sat down in front of songs and wrote them in like 30 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, we busting out songs. It was fire. And then so 2019, we had a CD release. And it was so amazing to see all the people that was in the venue just to see TriBlessed. Because they were like, I'm talking folk that we ain't seen in years.
Bro, I promise I feel like I was there, but I can't say for certain.
At New Prospect?
New Prospect. Because I can't remember, but I feel like I got that project. Because we were talking about it the other day, and I'm like, I could have swore I had that.
Yeah.
But
it was called Emerge because we were coming back out. And God gave us that word. And then we came out with a short mixtape after that, but COVID. So and we already started recording and everything. I think we recorded some of it in 2019. We were recording it. We did a live recording, and then something happened with all of that. So then we had to re-record, but we dropped it in like fall of 2020. And a lot of life happens, especially when you're older and things transition and stuff goes different ways. We talking new job, children, transition of home. So Vincent moved to Florida. Shout outs to Vincent, aka Jay aka Young Samson. He is in Florida right now with his wife. They have connected, and now they have a baby on the way. So we're very excited about what they have going on. And Christian. So my Vincent is just a year younger than me, but then Christian is 10 years younger than Vincent. So we're talking. He's married, on his way to a child. Christian is figuring out his place in life. Trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's venturing into like doing DJ. He's going back and forth to California and having these opportunities to be a DJ. He absolutely loves it. He's still making music, but then he's also like, man, like, it's about that time for him to look for somebody, time for him to venture out, be on his own, trying to find a big boy job, all of that stuff. So all of that comes into play when it comes to making music. When you're like, there are groups that, they're able to make their music and then they get all the residuals. So then they just sit in the house making music. That's not us. We ain't made bank off of, being young and making this album. So, and it's a lot of investing that goes into it. There's a lot of money that you put into it. But we're back in this, we're at this place where we're talking songs that were written 3, 4, 5 years ago that have not been released because you just ain't had that timing. I released a song called We the Squad. Shout outs to Christian for doing the mixing, mastering, and all of that stuff for that song. But I wrote that song in 2020 about COVID and how I was able to overcome COVID through playing Call of Duty with my friends. And so the whole song is like a metaphor about Call of Duty. But I was written in 2020 and it was released last year because, man, we finally getting back to this groove of making music. And so Kalen's got songs. I've got songs. I got songs with Vincent before he moved to California, before he moved to Florida. That's just sitting, and I'm talking bangers that I'm just like, I want to let this go, but it's album worthy. Like it is out. Like we got this song called On a Wave, and we try to record. I was going to release it, and we were trying to record a music video when we went down there, and I dropped my phone in the ocean and it destroyed. But music wise, I believe like in this month of December, Kalen also works with me, and so our jobs are going to start slowing down. She's got a niece on the way. Shout outs to K-Way's family, the Lee family, and y'all welcome that baby. We are excited about that baby. That baby was going to start coming. But our jobs are going to be slowing down. We're going to be able to take hiatuses. We're going to be able to take breaks. Christian has a job where he's going to be free on the weekends now. We got the opportunity to just make music. And I think this December, we're going to crank out some songs. We're going to be able to put it together and release something in 2025. So hold us accountable.
Let's go.
We're going to release this music in 2025.
We need that music. We need that music. That's what's up. That's what's up. I love it, man. Well, we will definitely be on the lookout. Y'all be on the lookout. Is there anywhere you want to send them now to look and listen while we're waiting for the new stuff?
So you can go on YouTube. You can go on any music platform and search TriBlessed, and our music will pop up. Our first album, we had an issue with TuneCore. I could not get back into my account, and so it's off of the market. But our other singles that have dropped are still out there. So we got We the Squad. I'm Him. That's the most latest song that came out. We recorded that and we released it in August along with the music video. So there's a music video. There's a Hanging Lights music video to I'm Him. I absolutely love that song. That's one of those one songs. And then we also have a song called Mansion. Specifically what we're talking about is how God has a mansion in heaven for us. So it does not matter what people think about us on this earth because God has something for us up there.
Nice.
Absolutely love that song. Shout outs to Christian. When we sat we recorded We the Squad. We recorded We the Squad first. And then I was like, Christian, you got any other songs? And he played that song. It sounds weird in the beginning, but let that thing breathe, right? Because when he played it, I was like, man, this sounds stupid. Then it was like, we wrote and recorded that song in 30 minutes. minutes.
Oh, wow.
When I tell you, I was like, I would never understand. Worship God, so my friend. And Christian sat down and he got behind the microphone and rapped his. Man, what? Got behind the microphone, recorded mine. Well, I'm talking harmonies and everything, putting all that in there. 30 minutes.
Wow.
One of my most favorite recordings I ever, and it's always like that when it's like it flows so easy.
Yeah.
Man, Christian said this bar. He said, I try to think what he said. Called the Holy Ghost, you can call me Daddy Phantom. I was like,
hey,
man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
So
hey,
search TriBlessed on any music
out.
platform. You're going to get at least some singles. You're going to get some music from us, and then we're going to have some more music dropping. We got a different platform that we're using. I have access to it, okay? I'm going to be able to access it.
Right. Now, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, man. It's been fun. Now, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. So, I always ask every guest to choose option A or option B. Option A, principals, teachers, and parents, 3 winning plays each. That's a total of 9. Or option B, choose one of them, principals or teachers or parents, and give them 5.
Got it.
So which one you want?
I'm choosing option B, and I'm picking parents.
All right.
Specifically parents.
Listen up.
First and foremost, be your child's biggest supporter. I am one that falls into the rabbit hole of Hope Talk. If you've never been on TikTok, search Hope Talk. It just gives you just positive videos that will cause you to.
This a real thing?
Hope
Talk.
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
And that's what's up.
And you will cry. Hope Core.
Hope Core.
Okay. Hope Core, but it's Hope Talk, whatever. And you will just sit there and watch videos and just cry.
Wow.
Because it's just beautiful moments that are happening.
That's what's up.
And one of the ones that really gets me is seeing children like doing performances or things of that nature, and they see their parents, and they don't know how to act. Right. And there was this one where there's this award show, and of course this father is estranged from his daughter, for whatever reason. If it's work or because the parents split up, I don't know. All I know is you could tell from this girl's reaction, she ain't seen her daddy.
She ain't seen him in a minute.
She walks in and she says, "Daddy," covers her face, starts crying, runs over and hugs him, gets out of line, runs over and hugs him. We need to be our children's biggest supporters, because if we're not our biggest supporters, then somebody else will be, and it may not be the most positive influence. So parents, I don't care what it is, big or small. I've seen youth that say, "Yo, I want to do this, but I'm afraid of what my parents will say." Look, as long as it's not harming them or causing them to be in danger or putting them in a bad position, support it. There's a young lady who her mother said, "I want you to be a sonographer," and she's like, "I really want to open up a food truck where we sell Mexican desserts in Price Hill." Why? Because there's no market for that. She's like, nobody's doing it. And I really think that I love to cook and I really want to do it, but my mom wants me to be a sonographer and I don't know what to do. And then we was like, just talk to your mom about it. Have a conversation. Post-graduation, she says, "I talked to my mom about it and she is so supportive."
Wow.
That is so necessary. You have to be your child's biggest supporter.
Yes.
Another thing that you have to do, parents, regardless as to how old or how young your children is, establish your own traditions. You are not your parents, and it is okay if you as a parent decide to do something different than what your parents do. Okay? One of which, when I was working renovation and reconstruction, every house that I went to, I would ask, what would you tell to a new parent? Some advice you would tell to a new parent. And one of the families told me, they said they did not tell the name of their child until after the birth certificate was signed. Because that's a decision that you and your partner made, and you don't want to allow other outside influences to change that decision. And I was like, oh yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Long story short, my birth name was not Justus. I was not born Justus. I had a totally different name when I was younger, right? So I got my name legally changed my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, wow.
Because outside influences caused my mom to not name me what she wanted to name me.
Wow.
And so for Christmas, on my 16th birthday, when I was 16, my mom said, "Hey, do you want to change your name?" And I was like, she gave me options, and I chose the name Justus. I got to choose my name, which is dope.
That's what's up. Yeah.
So I said, so when she told me that, I was like, that makes complete sense.
Wow.
So, you know, that was the decision that we had made. We're not telling nobody the name. We told very few people the name. We didn't tell nobody the name, including my mom and dad. My dad was cool with it. My mom was heated, right? And so it wasn't until my mom held our daughters for the first time that we told her what their names were.
Yeah.
And my mom goes, I would have never, like, you know, shout out to my mom. She's like, I would have never said anything about the names that y'all had chosen. I was like, Mom, if you had made a face, I would have changed the name. Made a face. But it's okay to establish your own traditions. Sometimes you need to venture away and do things with your family. I want to do stuff with my family all the time. I want to have family trips and everything. And those things just don't manifest. Do your own thing, especially with your children. Establish those traditions with your children. Third nugget, third diamond, seek out wisdom for parenting. We don't have all the answers.
That's true.
We don't.
That's true.
And the reason why we don't have all the answers is because every child is different. You cannot tell me, you could tell me what's worked for your child. It may not work for mine. You know?
It's true.
When they say do gentle parenting, and then some older folk be like, don't do no gentle parenting. Well, I found out that a healthy mix between the two actually works beneficially for my child. Some kids do not do well getting yelled at. But for some reason, my older daughter, Erin, she responds, oh, daddy said something, got to do it. Absolutely. And Ryan doesn't. Ryan will Erin will straighten up. Ryan will start crying. And there are nuances between children. It is okay to seek wise counsel for you being a parent. Read books, ask successful parents. Successful parent. And by successful, look at their kids. You'll know if they're successful. Please stop seeking advice from people who ain't got no kids. I don't care if they raise their brother and sister. They don't have children.
But it's like I got kids.
But it's not though, because you can give them back. You can give them back. But it is okay. Like, please ask for help. In the African American community, one of the things we don't do is ask for help. It is okay to ask for help. Sometimes you don't know. Hey, like my daughter started kindergarten at SCPA. School of Creative and Performing Arts. Shout out School of Creative and Performing Arts. And my daughter was struggling heavy. She was struggling heavy, behavioral wise. And I understand she went from being at a daycare where you in one room to being at a large school that's K through 12, and you got to go from the first floor to the third floor to the second floor to the first floor to this room to this hall. I get it. So my daughter is just right. And there's another young lady who goes to my church, but she has her degree. She's seeking her master's in early childhood education. Help me. Help me with my child. You got your degree. You can teach me some things, right?
You go.
And even with I realized one of the things I realized was my daughter does not like language arts. She's phenomenal at math. She loves cutting pictures out. She can count numbers all day. She'll color in pictures, but you need to write out 3 words 3 times. Her head is everywhere. She's doing everything but writing those 3 words. And so she said, why don't you correlate the math with the words to where you're incorporating addition with the language arts. And I'm like, I never thought of. See, that's the seeking wise counsel part that's necessary when it comes to your child. Ask for help.
That's good.
4th diamond, be okay with messing up. You're not a perfect parent. You probably will not be a perfect parent. And that's okay, because to be honest, your children do not want you to be perfect. Your children just want you to be present. So be okay with messing up. Apologize to your children. You want to teach your kids how to be respectful and be responsible? Apologize to your own kids. I messed up.
I've done that.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. I should have done it. I told you that I was going to buy you something and I didn't. And I'm sorry for that. So I'm going to make sure that I correct it. It is okay. You're not going to be perfect. Why? Because life isn't perfect. It's not established that way. The Bible says, John 16:33, in this life, we will have trouble. Stuff is going to happen. And you're going to blank out. You're going to completely forget. Shoot, I forgot to get my daughter off the bus one day. They calling me like, where are you? Oh,
I wasn't even down there.
Oh no.
Right.
Gotta be okay with that. Gotta be okay with messing up. And then the last diamond,
Number 5.
is understand that you are your child's constant example.
That's good.
The one thing they are going to emulate is you. And that's a heavy burden to carry. So you have to watch your actions. You have to be mindful of the things that you say and that you do. It is very important because your children act like you. And
Facts.
I feel bad for my kids. Why? Because we went to a parent-teacher conference and the teacher says, your child gets to running up and down the hallways. I was like, ugh. When we go to the grocery store, I just tell them to take off. It's me. I run everywhere. I'm always running. I run up and down the steps at the church. My kids follow behind me. Now they get to school and they don't know how to walk.
Right.
It's my fault. I'm loud. I scream for no reason. I just be in the middle of somewhere and just start singing a song.
Yeah.
And my kids start doing it and they're like, what's wrong with your child? I don't think it's anything wrong with him.
Right,
I'm a constant example of my children. And they soak up everything so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yes.
I'm in a Christmas program. We're going to be singing December the 14th, and we're having rehearsals, and we're singing these different songs. And my daughters will leave the rehearsal singing the songs that we were singing in the rehearsals. That's because they are I'm a constant example for them. They say, Daddy's doing it. I probably should do it too.
Right.
And so you
and
have
want
to.
to.
Yes. And so there are moments and times where my daughters do something, and I say, where did you get that from? Because you definitely didn't get that from me.
Right.
And then there are moments and times where I'm like, you got that from me
all day long.
Right. And so at least there are moments, like my kids running. Okay, that's not bad, right? So it seems like, maybe it's a little distracting or whatever. But I've seen children at the age of 3 cussing folk out.
Right. Oh my God.
And it's like,
please, parents, if you're doing that, please stop.
You
Please
know where
stop.
they get it
Oh,
from.
my
You know
goodness.
exactly where they get it from. So you have to understand that your children are a constant example. And I'm going to leave it with this. I teach at a school that's an alternative school. There are some students that go there because their parents don't like traditional schooling. And there are some kids that go there because they got kicked out of traditional schooling. And so in my neighborhood, as I'm driving home, one of my students was there. And of course, they got just the fattest blunt you could think of, right? I pulled into the driveway behind them. I was like, who is this? And they turned around like, who was this talking? And realized it was me. Right? Right. They turned back around with nothing. They're like, hi, Mr. Justus.
Yep.
And so, of course, I'm chastising them or whatever, giving them a hard time. I'm doing it all in love. It's funny, right? And just, whatever. And I was like, girl, you're 12 years old. You ain't supposed to. She's like, I'm 14. I was like, that doesn't make it better.
Right.
But then she says, my mom knows that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't even
hard
be
to fight
mad
that.
I can't even be mad at you.
Yeah.
Because your mom is letting you do it.
Yeah.
You as a parent are a constant example. And let's say you are doing some actions that you wish your children wouldn't replicate. Sit them down and teach them. Hey, I smoke because this is but I don't want you to.
Right.
So don't.
Right.
And some children will respect that enough to not do that.
And at least they know, like, this ain't something that,
So they need to understand, parents, please understand you are a constant example for your children. You wonder why they bad in school and why they don't respect authority. Well, check the conversation that you're having on the phone about how you can't stand your boss and you wish you could slap them. If they aren't doing their work and they're not handling business at the house, well, check your actions when you walk in the house. Do you just walk in, go straight into your room and close the door and you don't do nothing around the house? Well, maybe they feel like, oh, I don't do, my mama don't do nothing around the house. Why I gotta do it?
Right.
And daddies too. I don't want to exclude dads, right? I'm a dad, and dads are there. So, just notice you're a constant example.
No, that's good. That's good, man. I know we tight on some time, and it's perfect because we was able to get it all in and crush it, and you did. You laid it all the way out. Any last minute shout outs you want to give? Any shout outs to anybody?
Shout outs to TriBlessed. Shout out Vincent, aka BJ, aka Jay Noor, aka Young Samson. Shout out to Christian, aka Baby Bless, aka Wolf Breed. That's what it is, aka Wolf Breed. Shout outs to Kaylin, aka K-Way. Shout out the whole entire Lee family. We love you. We appreciate y'all so much. Shout out to wifey at the house with the baby.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much. It was great. Thank you for being there and all that good stuff. Shout out my entire family. Shout out the Well Church, Cincinnati.
Yes.
Hop over there and see us. If you have young students, come 5550 Reading Road.
Let's go.
We are there, Cincinnati, Ohio. Turned up. Service starts at 10:30. It gets crazy over there, and my youth are in the front. My youth are the ones who are leading worship, and not the ones on the stage. I'm just talking, just turned up, dancing in the front. And shout out City Gospel Mission, celebrating 100 years of service in the city of Cincinnati.
Wow.
Been doing this since 1924. Shout out Jobs Plus, Abe Woolfolk, Isaiah McKinney, K-Way again, Mary, Rebecca, and Brady, all my people at Jobs Plus. Had to shout them all out.
Man, listen.
But God is good, man.
If you got a shout out, like just your name was called just now. And matter of fact, if you got more than one name that was called, add that to this list. You need to share this thing, like this thing as many times. Every single person whose name was called. Y'all need to like this book and share it. If you need to subscribe, but at least like it and share it, because you got to tell somebody that your name was called.
Absolutely.
Say, I was in this podcast. I was in this. Just watch the whole thing. You'll see. You'll see.
And shout out to Saga. I got a battle with the Saga. We do battle rap. He's a Christian battler. Shout out to Saga. One of the first the pioneers of Christian battle rap.
Wow.
I'm going to see you December the 7th.
It's going to be on the flyer. That's the flyer.
It's going to be a movie. Shout out to Saga. We're going to make it a classic. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
That's what's up. Might have to slide through. Show up, pop up in there. That's what's up. All right, y'all, look, that's all, man. You guys, you got plenty of nuggets. Rewind it, come back, rewind it, come back, rewind it, and just write it all down. But appreciate y'all for watching. This is the Win and Play podcast. I am your boy, Sean Gary. Appreciate you, brother, again.
Absolutely.
Coming. See you on the next one. Peace.